Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Canadian Passive Investing Show. I'm your host, 𝗖𝗽𝗶 𝗖𝗽, and I'm joined by my co-host, August Biniaz. We have another incredible show for you today. If you could please like and subscribe as it helps us build our channel and allows us to keep bringing you great content and expert guest speakers. Our mission is to empower investors to earn passive income through real estate investing. Today, we are joined by Liza Rogers. Liza is a very good friend of mine, and she is also an author, a thought leader. She is the founder of the WREN Women's Real Estate Network, and she is an active real estate investor. So we believe this interview with Liza will bring great value to both active and passive investors looking to find creative strategies investing in real estate. So welcome, my dear Liza.
Welcome, Liza.
So nice to see you guys. Can we still say Happy New Year? I guess we sort of can, right? It's 2022 is going to be an incredible year, and I'm so excited for all of the things that are happening in real estate. There's going to be some challenges, but there's also some really exciting things happening, and what you guys have been doing is incredible. And yes, I focused on one of your key words there, Ava, creative. I think that's going to be a big word in 2022, creative. We're going to have to get creative.
I love that. I love that, Liza. Maybe let's start off by you telling us about your background and then your start in real estate, please.
Yes. So this is always a fun story to tell because I start by saying I knew nothing about real estate 10 years ago. My background is travel and tourism. And I've worked at the Olympic Games in Sydney, Australia. I've worked on cruise ships. I've worked on river cruises. I've traveled around the world. I've done incredible events, worked at fringe festivals, worked with all kinds of amazing people. And my life's passion has been to have experiences and adventures. And I've been very fortunate to be able to do that. Real estate came along because when I turned 40 a few years ago, I realized, oh my goodness, if I keep having this much fun and adventure and not being paid a really good salary to do so, how am I ever going to retire? And as I started looking at what those options might look like, the only thing that seemed to be a solution to me being able to retire was real estate investing. And so I dove in with as much passion as I dive into so many of the other things that I do. Learned as much as I could, information by fire hose to start with, catching some of it and most of it just streaming past. Learned a lot from people like WREN, Patrick Francie, and Don Campbell, of course, and the HGTV. I call it the HGTV real estate romance with Scott McGillivray and his whole 𝗖𝗽𝗶 empire, and seeing what was possible. And so that's really where I got my start. It was lots of information, lots of education, the realization that I wasn't going to be able to retire, and then started investing. And from that, of course, WREN was born, and that took us to a whole new level.
Amazing. And that's kind of my next question is, let's discuss WREN, this Women's Real Estate Network. How did the idea come about? And then what was the mandate of the vision and the mission of the group?
Yeah, so the idea really kind of came about by accident because I had just moved back from one of these adventures, realizing that, I'm going to have to, put my big girl clothes on now and figure out if it was time for me to get a real job, which I did for about this long. And as I was getting more and more excited about the real estate opportunities, I was having conversations with people that I was so surprised that so many people knew nothing about real estate investing, and especially with a lot of young women, they were even afraid to have a conversation with their banker to talk about, like, how do I sort setting up my bank accounts right, and how do I balance my checkbook, and how do I look after my finances? So as I was learning the whole real estate journey myself, and I was new in Victoria, having just moved, as I mentioned, from a recent adventure in Sydney, Australia, I just realized that so many women were not getting the information. And I felt like there was a massive disservice being done to women. And being that I was in Victoria, I was noticing it locally. But of course, as we started to grow WREN and started to talk to more people, we noticed that it was really a national, in fact, an international problem. Now we're seeing the opposite. We're seeing women, really taking a lead in real estate. But when I started WREN back in 2016, we were just dealing with so many women who had no idea, and quite frankly, who didn't, and guys, you guys know I love you, but they didn't want to be mansplained to, right? And ladies, if you've ever had that happen, Ava, you've probably had that happen to you, right? When you sit down at a bar and people say, what do you do? And I'm a real estate investor. And the guy next to you literally like puts his hands down. Well, let me tell you, little lady, real estate investing is really risky. So honey, you watch yourself. And I'm like, oh, here we go. So we really wanted to make sure that we gave women a place where they could feel safe and comfortable, and where the guys who were coming in weren't going to mansplain to them. And oh my gosh, the men in our group are so not mansplainers. They're amazing gentlemen, and they've just been so helpful to all of the women who are in the group. So yeah, it started kind of by accident, and it has grown. It's grown. Oh my gosh, it's grown from there, and now we're just so proud of where we are, and I get contacts and emails and thank yous every day. Just yesterday, one of our new members said, oh, I've been talking to people about understanding joint ventures, and I can't believe how helpful everybody is. And so that just warms my heart.
Amazing. Ava is a member of WREN, and
Yes.
I've been fortunate enough to attend one of your guys' events, so I can say I have a personal experience of being at an event, and it was great, very informative.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
And it's really great because we were just talking about this the other day, Liza, or last night, where, whether you're trying to learn about a joint venture or figuring out where to start investing in real estate, your money in real estate, it's really nice because you have all these ladies that are right there to answer your questions, to guide you, to hold your hand through the process. So it's really, really powerful being part of a group like this.
And some of them started out in the same place, so they're very open to advise you and assist you as well.
Of course, yeah, that's the whole thing.
Exactly. And that's one of the things we talk about a lot. Like I've actually, now that we're growing, we've had some women who have said to some of our colleagues, oh, I don't really know what I have to bring to the table. I don't really know anything. And I need to hear that, because, oh my God, like I had nothing when we started, right? I had no knowledge about real estate. I had just come back from a year in Australia, and a failed year, as I talk a little bit about in the book. And I had to kind of recreate myself, rebuild myself, and kind of get things put back together. And so when people say, oh, I don't really have anything to bring to the table, I'm like, you've got you to bring to the table.
Yeah, there you go.
And we're a very welcoming network, and we see that everybody has experiences and has stories and has value. And it's amazing when you get into a group how much information is shared and how magical that is, right? Like today we're talking about planting bamboo in the backyard. We were just going to put up a plain fence, but now we're talking to our landscape designer. So we're talking about bamboo, which is way more exciting than a fence. So it's those kinds of things that are, just everybody brings something, and it doesn't matter where you are. It's just about getting started and getting in with the right group of people.
Yeah, and connecting on an emotional level as well. So WREN's growing, and we were talking about more and more people are joining. What is the next 5-year plan for the WREN group?
So for WREN, actually what we're doing right now, and it's interesting, like we're growing, but we want to stay really well connected to our members, because I don't want to just take their money. I want them to actually be on the right path and on the right journey. So we've actually stopped membership until the end of April, which is, kind of hard to believe, because we really want to focus on the new members that we have and helping make sure that they get on the right path. So once we feel that they are taking that journey and they've made those connections and they're like, feeling solid, then we'll open up membership again, and it'll be by invitation, and it'll be a slightly different than it is now. But what we see is, in general, we see WREN growing as a really wonderful community of investors and people who are doing great things with real estate in their community, for their family, for their friends, and who really understand that being on a real estate investment journey isn't so much about the real estate, it's about what it does for your life. I just spent a month in Mexico last year in August, when we had that little break and could travel. I went and met my brand new family. I had discovered that I had a whole new family in Ontario, and I took a month off, and I got to go and meet my new dad and my sisters and my nieces and nephews and my cousins. And so I wouldn't be able to do that if I had a regular job, and I wouldn't be able to do that unless I had a great real estate team who can look after the portfolios and the projects while we're away. So, the group that joins REN are the people who want that same lifestyle. They want to be able to like have a BFF mansion in Mexico or Portugal where, we all go and we, have a big mansion on the beach and we cook dinners together, or we hire a personal chef and we do our personal training with our trainer and live life to the fullest. Life is short. And gosh, when we think about the friends that we've lost last year, it's so important to live life to the fullest and do what you can to live a rich life for yourself and for your family and for your community. So that's the direction, I see REN going, helping more women and men. We do have a half a dozen men in there as well, and moving forward to live that great life.
Great. And is REN regional or national, or what's the plans there?
Well, I mean, it's organically growing. We have meetings obviously in Victoria because that's where our core group is. We're growing in Vancouver. We really were starting to grow in Vancouver, and then COVID hit, so we weren't able to do events anymore. So we took everything online, which has been amazing for us. But we've got a good core group of probably 20 or 30 people and experts and people like Ava and 𝗖𝗽𝗶 and Jody and, great people in Vancouver who are there and who are going to be hosting events and who are always available online and for a chat. Then, of course, all the way over in Moncton, we have Darlene Smith. Darlene was a fortune builders educator for a long time, and she's got her real estate brokerage out there now, and she's just amazing. And then, of course, in Toronto, we have Lynn Trevisan. We have Elisa, who has the whole co-housing and co-living movement just going like crazy, and we're looking at getting a few other new people getting going in Toronto as well. So started out regional, but you can't keep a good thing down. So we're definitely growing across Canada.
Amazing, Liza. So leadership. Okay, let's discuss this. You are a leader, as you are the founder of REN, and you are also spearheading many other initiatives such as co-authoring books. Is leadership a trainable skill, or are leaders born?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it's both. I think a lot of people who don't think that they would make good leaders actually make the best leaders, because leadership, especially now, it's not about being a boss, right? It's not about, just yelling instructions at people. Being a leader now is about empowering people. The best leaders are the people who are the most willing to give up control. I mean, I know it sounds crazy, but again, if we use my examples of going to Mexico and going to Toronto last year, and I've had some people say, like, how do you give up control of your business like that? I'm like, I want to give up control. I want other people to run it. I want people who are better at doing those things than I am. I don't want to do the accounting. I don't want to do the admin work. I don't want to do, the social media graphics. We've got amazing people who can do that. So I think the best leaders are the ones who are happy to say, I'm not the smartest person in the room, right? Like you'll hear me say that a lot. I want people much smarter than me in the room who can say, yeah, I got this. And I'm like, great, you know what you're doing with the accounting. You're the lawyer. You can guide us on what to do. You're the builder. You tell us what we should do with this house. I don't, that's not my expertise. My expertise is bringing people together and helping people learn how to feel empowered and learn that if I can do it, anybody can. So I think leadership is a very different role and a different skill than it was years ago. And leadership qualities now involve empathy and confidence and empowerment and delegating and giving up control. So I think both. I think you can train leadership. I mean, we can train anything nowadays, right? If you have the right attitude and you have the right mindset, those are the key things that it takes. You can learn anything, or you can learn to delegate it. So I think both.
Yes.
Born and made.
Great. And in the recent book that I reread recently, Good to Great, I mean, the conversation about being a level 5 leader is also, the ability to create a culture rather than being this dictator that forces people to do things a certain way, but creating a culture for that to be done, that even if you leave an organization, that culture stays within the organization. So
Exactly.
I love that about. Now, earlier on, you're talking about the ability to be able to travel, be able to be in Mexico, so there must have been some, you talked about how real estate assisted you in that. There must have been some basically passive income that was coming your way for you to be able to do that. Talk to us. Are you currently an active investor, and what is the business model you utilize? You talked about the ground up development. You talked about other things. What is your current business strategy?
Of the 5 projects you have going on.
I know, right? I'm laughing because I'm like,
which one should I share?
I said to Ava last night when we were having a chat, I said, I'm not doing anything now until April because I've just got to do like some tidy up and some calm and some reset because, having a personality like mine means that you do get involved in a lot of things and people do approach you a lot and say, oh, I've got this great opportunity. And so one of the things that you have to learn to do is say no, which is sometimes really hard.
Yes.
But I have also been extremely lucky and I have said yes to a number of great opportunities. So in terms of what I'm doing right now, so many of you in our group have heard me talk about the Souk property. So I was fortunate enough to be able to partner with 2 fabulous people and buy 145 acres of recently logged land in Otter Point, just past Souk, BC, which is on the west coast of Vancouver Island, about an hour out of Victoria. And we're just finishing dividing some of the acreage into 10-acre parcels to sell. And so we're just waiting for our final approval on that to go ahead and sell those lots. And we got the property for an incredible price. And over the last year with all of we didn't think real estate was going to go where it's just recently gone, and it just keeps going there. And so we're very pleased to say the least with where that's putting us. And that's going to provide housing for a lot of families and provide some investment money for my next project. That's with one group of people. Then with my Crown Capital team, my team of 4 ladies, we bought 30,000 square feet in Campbell River, and we're planning on doing a townhouse development up there. So we're working very closely with Campbell River, which is talk about a municipality and planners and architects. They are really trying to be a community leader in how to turn these things around in a reasonable time. That's just been a joy to work on. I have a project in 𝗖𝗽𝗶 that we're looking at probably selling soon. It's a 4-plex that we were going to build. We were going to tear it down and build. But there's a few little issues with, again, with city planning and with municipalities. You sometimes hear one thing and then a new staff person comes on and it's like, oh, you can't do that. So it's like, oh, yeah, you guys know about that, right? It's like, oh, well, yeah, no, you can't do that. And it's like, oh, well, I guess we better sell this property then. So that's 3. Had the opportunity to buy some pre-sales with Kelly Fry. Kelly's doing great in the Fraser Valley, and bought one with one of our WREN members. She was almost going to let it go, and I got a call saying, your WREN member is going to leave money on the table. Since she put the deposit down, it's already gone up 30,000. So I called her, offered to partner with her, and we closed on the property. And then people got wind of that, and we did one of our cash flow crunches, which is a thing that we do on the first Wednesday of every month. We ran a cash flow crunch with one of Kelly's team members, Elisa. She showed us a pre-sale in Langley, and by the end of the call, we had 10 people calling saying, I want to buy in on this. So we put 10 people together and we bought 4 pre-sale properties. So
Great.
Nice.
So it seems like, what you have built allows opportunities to come your way, and then allows you to be opportunistic and pick and choose what deals you want to be involved with. But talking about someone who's trying to start in real estate, maybe particularly a young woman who's trying to start, a young woman professional, or a young woman who's recently married, looking to start investing in real estate, and they're not in a position where they have all these different deals coming their way and they can't really be creative. What would be your advice to someone like that, looking, believes in real estate, hasn't really done anything, hasn't bought a property in the past, but they want to be involved? What would be your number one advice to someone like that?
And August, it's great that you asked that question, because we actually have about 3 of those people that we're helping and coaching right now as we speak. And Ava, I'm sure you'll probably get a phone call in the next couple of weeks. So we've got several women who they're buying their first property, and the first thing that we tell them is join a group of people, right? Find a network, whether it's REN or REIN or whoever it is. There's so many local organizations. It's great to get into a group in the market where you're planning on buying, because you may even change your mind about buying there. So getting into a group so that you can start to ask these questions, because the more questions you ask, the more you're going to just start to learn about how the whole thing works. The second part of that is you're going to start to find out who's authentic, who's providing you with good information, and who's eventually going to be on your real estate team. Because, for me, all of the projects that I do, from the book to the REN organization to the investments, they all involve teams. I mean, I don't do any of this stuff on my own. And so for young people just getting started, getting into a group and then starting to build your team. So talking to mortgage brokers who understand that you're, doing your first property or your first investment property, so that you've got someone who is empathetic to the situation that you're in and can walk you through the questions. Finding a real estate focused realtor, an investor focused realtor, because it's so much different to have a realtor who has investments themselves, so that they can help you understand the difference between your primary residence, your investment property, or your passive income property, or your private lending that you decide to do, or whatever that is, and what order you might want to do them in, because sometimes people buy their investment property first and then do their primary residence. So it's important to have that right realtor working for you. And of course, your lawyer is another important person. I mean, when I think of the young woman who bought the 145 acres in Soup, when she called me and said, hey, I've got this property, and the first question I asked her is, do you have a lawyer who's looked through your offer? So she got on to our lawyer, Stuart Ross, and Stuart has kind of walked all of us to the edge now, where we're ready to sell that property.
And I think Stuart was the only other man
Yes.
at the
Yes.
event that I came to. So
yeah, Stuart was there. Yeah, Stuart was there, and hopefully you'll see him again soon. So it's really about the people, right? I mean, yes, reading books is great. Yes, getting information and learning as much as you can, but reaching out to those people who are going to help you and hold you accountable, right? Because I've had people who, and I'm not, don't anybody judge me on this, and don't take it the wrong way, but I've had people reach out and say, I want to buy a winery. And I'm like, you're not buying a winery as your first investment. That's the hobby. When your investments are paying off, then if you want to buy a winery, because we all know wineries actually lose money, then you can buy that as your hobby, where you might put some business losses. So it's really important to be vulnerable, ask those questions. There's no such thing as a stupid question, right? Because we've all been there, and build those people, get in that tribe, find those people and build that team. And for me, that's worked for me. And I know I'm watching it work in real time for other people. Like it gives me so much joy to hear one of my members say, oh, I just talked to so-and-so 2 days ago, and I referred her to this person. I didn't even have to do anything, and they're all connecting with each other. I'm like, yes, that's exactly how I wanted it to happen. So it's just fabulous that it's actually happening.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
And it's great for somebody just starting to talk to people who are experienced, because they've made their mistakes, and they can save you from a lot of headache as well. So
yeah, exactly. No need to reinvent the wheel. Just talk to people who've done it.
absolutely. Awesome. Now, before we head to the next segment of our show, Liza, why don't you just quickly go ahead and talk about Ordinary to Ordinary.
My book's got some dog ears already. I've got my Liza's copy in here.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. So from Ordinary to Extraordinary, Ava, yes, you're in there. Yeah, I'm covering your face, but there you are. So yeah, I again, realizing that there are so many books about real estate, and realizing that I have so many great women in my circle who all have very unique stories and very unique ways of investing in real estate. And so I've been thinking about it probably for about 4 or 5 years. And as more and more women were coming into my fold, and with COVID, it's like, what better time to write a book during COVID? So the timing is right. The opportunity was right. We had the right women who were ready to contribute. And so I'm so proud that we put a book together that tells the stories, the how to, the how not to, the vulnerability, the honesty, the if we can do it, anybody can. That's the message that seems to come through loud and clear. And so, we've got Darlene, and we've got Ava, obviously right here, and Darlene in Moncton talking about her journey. Kelly Fry talking about, being someone who owned a maternity business and then got into real estate. Sherry Krause, who's built 3-4 condo rental buildings and has built over 100 rentals for people in the Langford community. Tiffany, of course, Tiffany and Corey out of Edmonton, just doing incredible things. Elisa doing incredible things with the whole co-housing and co-ownership movement. So it's been incredible to participate in this book writing, and then see the stories come together and hear the feedback that we've been getting. So we're super excited about the book, and we'll be doing a lot more with it this year. And it's just been such a great journey. And I'm so proud of all of the stories and all of the honesty and the vulnerability that all of the women in the book shared. It's just been amazing. So, and thank you, Ava, for participating and for sponsoring. You put some sponsorship money in there too. So it's always great to have sponsors. Anytime you do something like this,
Yes.
you need sponsors to step up. And it's always great when people understand the value of what you're trying to bring to the world and say, yeah, count me in. So
I really enjoyed being part of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's truly a great
you,
read. I've read
Liza.
the book, and I even took some pointers from some of the journeys that the woman had taken in their, in their real estate investment journey. So
Yeah,
it's great.
it's gonna inspire a lot of people, and it also got best-selling
It
on
did.
Amazon. So congratulations.
Yeah, we got bestseller in 11 categories on Amazon, which we were so shocked by, but we'll take it, right? That's what everybody wants to do. They got to get that bestseller status on Amazon now, so we'll take it.
Absolutely, Liza. Amazing. Okay, great. So let's go on to our next segment. It's called the 10 Championship Rounds to Financial Freedom. So whatever comes top of mind. First question is, who was the most influential person in your life?
My mom.
Amazing.
For sure. Yeah, and
Liza loves her mom so much. It's the sweetest thing.
And everybody who meets my mom loves my mom. I mean, yeah, when people meet her, it's just like, oh my God, your mom is an amazing woman. And yeah, she is definitely my inspiration.
Beautiful. All right, what is the #1 book you'd recommend?
We were talking about this the other day, and I think Rich Dad, Poor Dad and Think and Grow Rich are still 2 classics, that for that mindset and that shift.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Now, if you had the opportunity to travel back in time, what advice would you give your younger self?
Start now. It's always, when I was traveling around Australia when I was 30, gosh, if I had just started investing just before I left for Australia, I would have come back to a completely different picture. So it's never too early to start, even if you're just starting with $100 or $50 a month. I mean, there's things that you can do to get started, and it's never too late. So start now, whatever it is, start now.
Nice. All right, Liza, what's the best investment you've ever made?
The investment in myself.
Love that.
It's knowing how much you are worth and putting yourself first and investing in you. And that's investing in your health, investing in your wealth, investing in the adventures that you want your life to be, and prioritizing the way you want to live your life with your friends and your family.
Amazing. Now, what's the worst investment you've ever made, and what lesson did you learn from it?
God, that's a tough question. I guess so quickly, I bought I put money down on a property, tried to close on it. It was a Canada Day long weekend, and long story short, the lawyer who was doing the private loan for us couldn't close. and, or sorry, couldn't do the conveyancing, couldn't do the paperwork because it was a long weekend and they were short staffed. And, we thought, the realtors and everybody thought, oh, well, it's, it's fine. We won't be able to sew this up, but it's only going to be one day. I'm sure the owners aren't going to keep your deposit and take your money and run. And they did. They just said, oh, sorry, you're in breach of contract. So I lost a $20,000 down payment. And at the time, right, if I had known what I know now, everybody who was involved in that, we should have fought harder. Like my realtor, my mortgage broker, the lawyers, like I kind of got bad information and I was told just, you got to let this go. And I did. And so that was pretty crappy.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But lots of lessons. I
Lots of
never do anything on Canada Day long weekend now.
Yeah.
Except go to the fireworks and have a beer.
Yeah, there you go. All right. How much would you need in the bank to retire today? What's your number?
My number's actually pretty small because I'm not really that extravagant. So I'm actually going to revisit that. I'm going to do my budget in next month. But like I actually think I'm pretty good on $1 million bucks. Which is one or two houses in this area. And just leveraging them correctly. But yeah, I don't think I need that much. And I think people really need to do the numbers because I think people think that it's way higher than it actually is. Mm-hmm. So my mom's number was like 4,000. She can live like the life and live in Mexico half the year on $4,000 a month.
And be comfortable and happy.
And be happy and playing golf 3 times a week, right? Like,
yeah, just put the numbers together.
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah.
All right. If you could have dinner with someone dead or alive, who would it be?
Ooh, Michelle Obama.
Oh, cool.
Actually, Michelle and Barack Obama. I'm a big fan of Michelle in particular. But yeah, I would say that would be a pretty cool dinner.
Okay. 2 lawyers, actually. Both of them were.
Yeah, they'd be on my real estate team.
Awesome. Liza, if you weren't doing what you're doing today, what would you be doing now?
Probably running a bed and breakfast in Bondi Beach, Australia.
Super cool.
Yeah. And I did that and I loved it. So
nice. Yeah. All right. Book smarts or street smarts?
Street smarts.
Street smarts. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Last question. If you had $1 million cash and you had to make one investment today, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a good one. I'd probably buy more land on Vancouver Island. I mean, I think that's a good opportunity. Or I would do something in the US. Definitely. Maybe a small apartment building, a little 20 or 30 unit apartment building in the US. I love the US. I've spent. We almost bought a mobile home park there. We went and spent time in Michigan and Texas and Indiana and Illinois and love it. And we'll probably do something in the US with you guys this year. So
love it.
Yeah, April. I'm not doing anything until the end of April.
Amazing. Liza, what's the best way people can reach you?
So the easiest way to reach me is on the website. So it's really easy. It's WREN.club. That's WREN.CLUB. You don't need the .com. We managed to get the .club moniker a long time ago. And we are a club, so it's easy to find us, WREN.club. And my contact information is there, and you can email me, Liza@WREN.club. And that's it. We're easy to find.
Yeah, ladies,
awesome.
Come join the club. It's
Yeah.
Liza, thank you so much.
Liza, thank you for taking the time and sharing your knowledge, life experiences, and answering all our questions. Thanks for the transparency, and thanks for being here today.
Yeah, we love you.
Thank you. I love you guys too, and so happy for the journey you're on and the success you're having. It's just awesome to watch. Love watching all of our real estate circles growing, and we just want more people to be able to win and be happy and live life to the fullest. And thank you so much for doing what you're doing.
Thanks, Liza.